Come on. What's going on, everybody? It's Nate from Big Nate TV. And on YouTube, watch Big Nate TV. All right, we're going to do our first episode of Adult Storytime. I'm going to do this every Thursday uh, till we can kind of figure out a schedule. And so, Adult Storytime is basically it's a story that I create, whether it's from a book or a real life situation or whatever. But today, I want to do a thing called I Love You, But. And this is about a couple that they're totally different from each other, but they block out that opposites attract and the noise from other people, and they continue they start their love story. So hold on, I'm out walking the dog, so just give me a second. Anyway, the story goes like this. There was a guy. The guy is a older guy. We're gonna say he's like 52, 53, give or take, and he's out and about hanging with his boys at a lounge. And at the lounge, he sees a lady that he's really attracted to. So, he goes up and he introduces himself. He says, "Hey, how you doing? I think you're an incredibly good-looking woman, and I want to know if I buy you a drink, could we kind of have a conversation?" She was with her girlfriends, and the girlfriends were laughing like, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, come on." And she said, "Well, my friends are over there." And his friends range from anywhere from like 30 on upwards towards 60. And these guys have had businesses. One was a pastor and the whole shebang. Well, they came over and everybody sat and they talked and they had a good time. So they exchanged numbers. They didn't really think much of it because the young lady that she was talking to was about 32, 33 years old, give or take. He didn't know that. She didn't know his age. However, throughout the conversation, they found out that, you know, they had similar paths in life and they had a lot of differences in life. And so they go out on their first date. And their first date, you know, he's a nice guy. He takes him to a place that he knows she's never been before because the guys that she's told him that he's dealt with have been guys that the best they're going to do is take her to Applebee's. The best that they're going to do is take her to Chipotle, if that. Now, what happens is he takes her to this place and they have to go on an elevator to get to the restaurant. Well, it's a restaurant slash bar. And they get there, and she's totally shocked and surprised. She's totally shocked and surprised because she's never seen anything like this. She's never been to anything like this. And because she hasn't, it like throws her off just a little bit. And so when it throws her off, she's not really sure what to do because the way she's been taught, everything in society says, well, he's coming off too fast, or, her girlfriend say, well, take his money, take his money, take his money. But something inside of her said, enjoy the moment because she's never experienced this before. And she's never experienced this before. And the fact that she actually is enjoying herself. He's not coming off strong to her. He's not trying to make sexual advances to her. He's actually talking to her like a human being. So the night goes on and on and on. And she's scared. She orders a drink. And because she really didn't, all she knows is, whatever she orders at the bar. And so she wanted to try a couple of drinks. And he told her, go ahead. He told her, go ahead. And everything was cool. And so she was kind of thrown off because at the end of the night, he asked her, he said, do you want me to get you a ride or would you like me to take you home? He said, the choice is yours, you know. Now, I completely understand how things are going to go. You know, nowadays, most people don't want to know where they live. So she threw caution to the wind because she said, hey, he's a nice guy. Showed me a good time. He's never been rude. This is the first date. And what happened was she said, you can take me home. So they got to the car. They got to the car, and it was a Nissan Sentra. It was a Nissan Sentra, and she was totally shocked because the restaurant, he spent an easy $300. Easy three. So she said, that's your car? And then she kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, why? And she said, I would have thought you would have had something nicer. He was like, nah, you know, it is what it is. So what happened was she what the fuck are you doing, honey? Really? So what she did, she said, okay. So he had on, you know, the quiet storm, playing slow music. And again, she's used to nothing romantic like this. So he was telling her, oh, this is, you know, Luther Vandross. She texting the girl, this dude up here playing some old music. I don't know what's up with that. And so she said, her girlfriend said, girl, did you have a good time? The girlfriend said, yeah. She said, and they texted. He said, are you gonna see him again? She said, I might, it's just moving too fast for me. Her girlfriend goes and says, let it move fast. Because I know the men that you've dealt with, you've fallen in love with, and you had to be the man and the woman in the relationship. She said, enjoy him. If he's showing you a good time and he's being respectful, she said, that's something that you need. She said, but take it slow, be smart about it. So she took the advice and he drops her off at home. He drops her off at home. And then, a couple of days pass and they had their little conversations. So he takes her out on a second date. He takes her out on a date, which is my favorite, the ice cream date. He takes her on that date and she has a good time because, again, he's not pressuring her for her body. He's not being disrespectful. He asks her how her day is. He sends her lunch, once a week. And where she works at, not only does he send her lunch, but he'll pop up every now and then and give her flowers and give her balloons and the whole shebang. No way. As we move into the third week and the fourth week, all of this is overwhelming her because he hasn't yet say, come over to the house and do this, that, and the other with me at the house. He hasn't. But what he has done, he's like imprinted his DNA in her. And he's saying, I'm gonna show you what it's like to be a man. So around that fourth or fifth date, she goes, you know what? I got the money. I want to take him somewhere. So she already knew that there was a, um, a concert coming in town that he wanted to go see. And that's fine. So she said, you know what? I'm going to take you out. And she told him what day, She said, look, just be casual. You don't need to get all dressed up. We're going to go do us. Cool. No problem. Hit that like, share button if you like this story so far. And I will replay it a little bit later on. So he gets in the car. He says, yeah, you know what? Meet me at my house. We're going to get in a car and we're going to go somewhere. And so then he was like, okay, cool. When he gets to the house, he notices that there's a BMW and a Mercedes in the car, and he's in his Sentra. So he pulls up and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you had company." She said, "I don't." He was like, "Well, what are these cars here?" She said, "Those are my cars." And so he said, "Oh, really?" He said, "What do you do?" What are you, a content creator? She said, actually, I am. She said, we're going to get in a car and we're going to go out on our date, and I'm paying for the entire date. Much to his beknownst, a car pulls up, and it's a nice black car. It's a black Lincoln car tinted out. And they're in like jeans and tennis shoes. And what happens is he gets into the car and he's totally shocked. He's totally shocked because inside of the car, it has his favorite drink. It has his favorite drink. She has her wine because she's paid attention to everything that he said and liked. And so he said, excuse me, what restaurant are we going to? She's like, just hold on, we're going to go somewhere nice. Then we're going to go eat. So they talking and they chilling and everything. And so he says, yeah, such and such is in town. That would have been cool. She pulls up, she pulls up to where the concert is. She pulls up to where the concert is. And she said, well, come on with me. We're going to go in here. She's like, going where? They're going in through the gate where the tour buses come in. They're going in through the gate where the tour buses are coming in. And she says, what are we getting ready to do here? They go through the bowels of the concert hall and they pass a couple of security guards. The security guards acknowledge her. A man that has, very nice haircut and a suit. He greets her with a kiss in a thick, European accent. And the guy says to the girl, he said, yes. He said, he's back here. And so he said, but put these on. So the guy's like, put what on? They put on these lanyards, and he's already shocked because he's at this concert. She walks him in to the room where his favorite performer is. What he didn't know is they were very good friends. So they had a good time, and in the seats they were very good seats. They were front row and center. The entertainer acknowledged her and him at the concert, and they left. Everything is going great. Everything is going fine. Now, here's where the situation comes. 2 months into them dating, they are really feeling each other. They haven't had slept with each other. They haven't done anything. But they go out and they interact with each other. They had a couple of hiccups here and there, but they talked it out like normal human beings do. So she says, well, come on over to the house. I want you to meet some people. So he comes to the house and, he's looking nice and he brings her favorite wine. And she says, yeah, can you bring me this wine also? And he's like, okay, cool. When he walks into the house, he sees the girlfriends that he met at the club. One of the girlfriends really likes him because she's like, that he is good for. Not only that, he sees the other girlfriends, they speak and they acknowledge him, and he sees these two older ladies sitting on the sofa. He sees the two older ladies sitting on the sofa. He gives the girl a couple of bottles of wine plus the wine. He kisses her on the cheek and he speaks to each other. And he's still standing up. And they say, oh, you can sit down. And you're like, nah, I think I better stand up because I'm not going to sit down in a lioness den with a meat jacket. And they said, no, it's fine. They said, it's fine. We just want to know who is putting a big smile on our girl's face because she's never experienced anything like this. Now, the two older women are dead staring him down. They don't say a word. They got their legs crossed. And I mean, these are nice looking women. And it's an eclectic group, a black girl, a Hispanic girl, Asian girl, white girl. And they're all talking amongst each other. And they're just asking them random questions. What does he do? Has he been married? And the two older ladies don't say anything. Out of the two older ladies, the one that is the oldest gets up and goes into the kitchen with the girl. And she starts to talk to him. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, he's still sitting there and they're talking to him. And they're just talking now. They're not really asking him and grilling him. So the other lady, the older lady that was left out there is drinking wine. She's kind of sitting out there. And she asks him, she said, how old are you? And so he says, he says, how old do I look? And everybody gets quiet. He says, well, how old are you? How old are you? He says, 53. He said, so you're going to be 54 on your birthday? I'm like, yeah. He said, how long were you married? He said, I had two marriages. I had two marriages and three kids. And he said, so what happened with the first one? He said, my first wife passed away. And then he said, what happened to the second one? He said, the second one, it just didn't work out. And she kept pressing and said, did you cheat on him? And he said, no, we didn't cheat on each other. And he said, so why did it break up? He said, we just grew apart. She said, how can y'all grow apart and you got married? He said, I was in a very bad place after my wife died. She was there as somebody that I knew. And the older lady said, oh, you were cheating on your wife and you married your mistress. And the girls are sitting there like, oh my God. One girl is like, go, mom, go. Like, yeah, he ain't this, he ain't that. The main girlfriend gets up and she says, I got to go to the bathroom. And she gets ready to go to the bathroom. And she walks into by the kitchen. And she hears the older lady talking to the girl. And the older lady is saying, let me tell you something, baby. She said, you're 30 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. She said, that man worships the ground that you walk on. And she said, Grandma, how do you know that? She said, because when he walked in, he didn't come in with just the two bottles. He came in with multiple bottles. He came in, he didn't come in empty handed. He came in like a man. He came in like how your grandfather would have came when he came to see my family. She said the only difference is your uncles were there and they were not nice. And they made sure they wanted to be sure that this was going to be the man that was going to protect their only baby daughter, their baby girl. And she said, well, Grandma, I really do like him. She said, hold on to him. She said, because men like him, there are one or two things that come from them. They're either abusers or they're men that you marry. And he don't look like an abuser. And she said, Grandma, well, granddad was an abuser and he was a nice man. She said, yeah, I know. She said, they were telltale signs. She said, nothing about him even screams he's an abuser. That's a man that's in love and it will do anything for his woman. And then she said, I want you to think about that, baby. She said, I want you to think about that. I don't want you to listen to your mother out there who is probably grilling him and asking him all sorts of questions. And she said, you need to really watch that one friend over in the corner. The one that's always quiet. And they went out and the quiet girlfriend that was in the corner, she said, you know what? She said, give me a call. I want you to do XYZ 1 2 3. And he said, okay, I'm gonna give you the number. And he gave her the number. Gave her the number. Well, let's fast forward 6 months into the relationship. 6 months into the relationship, things are still going fine. Things are still going great. The mother is like, I ain't feeling this. Her brothers are like, yo, you know what? This is a decent dude. He's cool. Ma, everybody's not like that. Everybody's not like that. So then the guy, it's her birthday. He throws a surprise birthday party. He gets her girlfriend. He gets the grandmother. Tells the grandma, bring the mother, bring all the family, because I don't want to trigger everything off. So we just want to make everything nice. The grandmother says, you're not going to propose to her. He says, nah, it's too early. Says she's a good girl, but I want her to, kind of live life a little bit before we get down that road. He says, okay. So What happens is they get to the club. His friends are there, her friends are there, and she is totally shocked. She is in tears. The mother is sitting in the corner like a sourpuss. She's sitting in the corner like a sourpuss. And the other, the other girl, the girl that was silent and said, "Let me get your number. Let me get your number. Let me call you." She is silently hating on this man because she makes little comments to the girlfriend. Yeah, he happy, but he's a cheater. Watch, I got his number. I text. So they're sitting and they're talking. They're sitting and they're talking. Everybody's having a good time, except for the mother. So one of his friends comes over and he says, "How you doing? I'm such and such." He said, "I've been admiring you the whole night. Why are you sitting over here just with your arms folded?" He said, "You're not having a good time?" He said, "Yeah, I am having a good time." He said, "I just don't trust him." He said, "Why?" "He's been married twice. He's not gonna hurt my baby." He said, the friend said, "Like your husband hurt you?" And he said, he said that same energy that you putting out there to her about that, she's trying to ignore it because she loves you, but she's taking heed, but you putting a poison pill. She's happy. Look at all the men that she's dealt with. She said, "Look at them. They're happy together." He put all of that together. Do that look like a man that's going to hurt her? She said, "No." She said, and he was just straight up with it. He said, "It looks like you're upset that your daughter has the happiness that you were seeking with your husband." And the mother sat there and she thought about it, and tears rolled down her eyes. And he said, he hurried up and gave her a napkin to wipe her tears because they didn't want anybody to see that. And so he said, "Come on, we're gonna go outside, we're going, take a little walk." So they walk out. Everybody like, "Oh, what's that all about?" So they get out and they go sit in this guy's Mercedes. And she's just saying, pouring her heart out. He's like, "Yeah, you know what?" He said, "I've always wanted a woman like you. We've been through a lot. Why don't we go out?" And she accepted. She accepted. And let me bring this thing on home. The girlfriend that decided that she wanted to be the hater was sending him texts. "Hey, why don't you come over here? Why don't you come over here?" And all that other good stuff. And he replied, "Yeah, okay, I'll be there." He said, "Let me drop her off. I'll be there. I'll be there." And so what happened was at the end of the night, everybody's leaving. Everybody's leaving. He drops his girl off. He's in the Central. And he's talking to her on the phone. He says, "Okay, I'll call you tomorrow." He said, "I'm just gonna make a stop and then I'm going home. No worries." And the girl is sending him nice erotic pictures. Nice erotic pictures. Okay, I'm just making a stop. He makes the stop and he goes, the Central pulls up. The girl says, "Just knock on the door. The door will be open. I'll be there." So the Central pulls up. And when the Central pulls up, the girl hears him and she rushes to the door. And when she rushes to the door, she sees two men there. One is him and one is his boy. And he said, "The number that I gave you was not me. It was him. He's single. I'm not. I love your girl and I'm never going to cheat on her." She said, "But I made sure that we recorded this just in case that you try to say something stupid." That's our outdoor story time for this episode. I will see you guys the next time. Drop your comments below. I'll rerun it.